Hi scientists, today we are going to work on our unit starter. Mystery Science is a resource that we will use a lot throughout our 5th grade year. And what I like about Mystery Science is they set up videos and investigations so that you can learn as you go. And it's not just me telling you all of this information. So what we're going to do is work through the unit starter. Here we go. You've heard stories of castles, knights riding horseback, magic, kings and queens. It seems like a made-up world, but hundreds of years ago in the medieval time or Middle Ages, these things really existed. In the Middle Ages, people built beautiful, intricate buildings made of stone. If you visit places in Europe, you can still see some of these buildings today. One of the most detailed ones is a church in Paris, France, called Notre Dame Cathedral. Keep going and we'll check it out. So here's a photograph of Notre Dame Cathedral, Paris, France. I wish we could do a zoom in to be able to see the details. In the next slide, we will get to see a little bit closer, but there are a lot of details in this building when it was built. And unfortunately, since this photograph was taken, there has been a fire at this cathedral. Check out the view from the top of the cathedral. So there you can see a little bit closer and to observe some of the details that are a part of the building. And then you can also see what the view is like. You can look out and see over the city. Do you know what these statues are? If you do, say it out loud right now. They are called gargoyles. They were carved from stone in the Middle Ages when people believed in magic. Many people believe that they were added to buildings to scare away evil spirits, but they also serve a much more practical purpose. They help the water run off the roof, similar to gutters that are on buildings today. So when it rains and the water's coming off of the roof and it's coming off really hard, that can sometimes, it can cause flooding in buildings and it can flooding in homes. And so you might have noticed that on the side of your house, you have what's called a downspout. So the water comes through the roof, it goes in a tray that's called a gutter, and then it comes down the downspout. So you might have seen water kind of rushing out that downspout. Well, that's what gargoyles were originally built for, is that drainage system. Sometimes gargoyles are still used for decoration. Take a look at a new gargoyle. Do you notice any differences between modern gargoyles and the ones created over 700 years ago? In the next slide, the pictures will be there so we can keep thinking that. All right, it says get a See, Think, Wonder chart. You don't have the worksheet. You have the See, Think, Wonder chart in your notebook. So if you don't have your science notebook with you, please press pause, get your notebook, and come back. What do you observe about the old gargoyles? How are the old gargoyles and the new gargoyles different? Record your answers in the C column of your chart. 5th graders, I want you to write at least 3 things that you observe. So you'll do 3 things, so you need to press pause in the video, and once you've written 3 things that you've observed about the new and old gargoyle, then you can press play and keep going. So press pause, write in your notebook. Okay, so you've written in the C column. How can you explain what happened to the old gargoyles? What made them change? Where did the stone go? So those questions, what made them change? Where did the stone go? I'd like for you to record your answer in the think. So please answer what made them change, where did the stone go? Press pause and play once you're finished writing. It says, what questions do you have about the gargoyles? What do you wonder about how they have changed over time? Record your answers in the wonder. I'd like for you to write at least 1 question. It could be about gargoyles. It could be, like, for example, do you know the type of stone that was used? Do you know We've talked about kind of how old, how do they design the gargoyles, like what tools are used to make. So I want you to write at least one question. Pause the video if you need more time to write at least one question. All right, scientists, so you should have at least 3 things that you observed in the C column. You should have your thinking about what's happening to the gargoyles, like what's your guess, and at least one question.